All right, everyone, you feel old yet? Kamala Harris used to be politically relevant. Now, of course, she's at sub 4 in the aggregate for RCP. By the way, use the RCP aggregate. It's funny when Bernie bros ramble about how Bernie should be in first place because this poll 2 months ago said so, and they think that the aggregate is Russian influenced or something. Neoliberals messed with these numbers, despite the fact that RCP literally has no political axe to grind and is nothing more than an aggregation system for both news and for polling. It's the best political site you can be using. It's the most unbiased aggregation source, other than maybe 4chan at this point, which is hilarious, I think you can use. Anyway, Kamala Harris is getting in a little bit of trouble. People are beginning to notice that she's basically an absentee while her state is literally burning to the ground. Your constituents are losing their homes. Why don't you ramble about Trump some more and how he's somehow responsible? The only time she even talks about California is to talk about what saving grace supposedly they have. What wonderful things happen in California with their tax rate, their crime rate, and the fact that they can't even manage a forest. By the way, it's actually a fact check here. It's actually true that Trump has been consistently warning about fire safety in California for a number of years, saying, hey, you've got a lot of dead underbrush there. Get rid of it. This is why you use controlled burns, but the state of California has held off of that and throttled it back because of environmental concerns. Who cares if a bunch of homeowners die, as long as we are out of sight, out of mind with air pollution that's going to be done anyway. Somebody's going to supply that wood to the factories. Somebody's going to be using their fireplace. If not Californians, because they don't have the money anymore to buy the matches necessary to kindle it up, well, then Vermonters will be more than happy to because, it's much colder in Vermont than it is the Fresno region. I'm not surprised that so many people are migrating out of California. How many people every day are leaving that state? When are we, by the way, going to investigate what their population even is so that we can readjust how many representatives and electoral votes they get? I bet it's less than it was before. I bet Texas is a lot higher now, too, because it's absorbing half those people. By the way, it's terrible when people leave one place and then start voting for that to be for the new place that they are to become the old one that they fled in the first place. That's just dumb. It's like if I leave Vermont for a low-tax area, no, I don't want to vote for some far-left movement to make it more like my home state. Nostalgia aside, you left for a reason. Stop trying to make Texas into the second California. It's probably not going to work anyway. It's funny when people ramble about it turning blue and they worry so much, or they chortle so much about it. I'm willing to bet it stays red, though, in 2020. I don't think there's going to be a big problem. Kamala Harris, though, doesn't care about her constituents. It's quite clear. When she was a prosecutor, she was strictly an authoritarian, abusive, overzealous prosecutor. She has taken that basic same mentality, this is just part of who she is, to the political arena. She's a self-righteous goofball. She's a pearl clutcher. She's holier than thou. That's who she is. She can't be any other way. By the way, there's nothing that turns voters off more than somebody who's like that. We've seen candidates before. Hillary Clinton carried an essence of this. I'd say Warren, to a limited extent, exhibits the same thing. We've certainly had candidates throughout time. Al Gore was arguably a little bit like this. I'm trying to think of some Republicans for comparison who have been similar. Well, Mitt Romney, arguably. He's holier than thou while trying to appear nonchalant about his own wealth. Remember the cringiest thing was him rambling about how great ponchos were and scarfing down a hot dog and pretending to be sort of hip to the culture. I'm one of you little people. Yeah, I too like to wear a flannel shirt and chop wood all day. Yes, says Mitt Romney, that's my chosen lifestyle. It's just bullshit. Trump, meanwhile, he wears it like a badge that he's better than other people. At the very least, he's honest about the fact that his ego is enormously swollen. I can respect him more for that. He's very flat out about it. Yeah, I'm rich. I'm richer than you are. He. Mitt Romney pretended he was living in a trailer park half the time. Kamala Harris, she reminds me of the sort of person that would lead the local PTA. Or be like the head of the local housing authority or something. Her and Warren both remind me of this. Hillary less. She's self-righteous, but Hillary is a candidate not quite the same. I saw her more as a sort of person who just, behind the scenes, she's just nasty in general to everyone. Refers to all the black people she meets as the help and then laughs about it and badmouths Bill when she's talking to Huma and just a generally dishonest, crooked person. but I didn't get the sense of her being like specifically like loftier than thou in the more bureaucratic sense, because she prefers to have other people do that for her. With Kamala Harris, though, can't you just see her playing like early on in the election? Let's do a little mind exercise again. For those that didn't hear the first time many months ago, I proposed the following little thing to do, and this is how you could determine who is likely to become the president. Look at your casting for actors and actresses to play the president on TV or in a movie. Who are you casting for that role according to genre? Who's most believable? Now, Trump's believable because he's literally the president already. We don't have to imagine it. He's already there. He's also really good at acting in the literal sense, so that definitely helps. Biden is believable. He's been the VP. That's close enough. He sort of looks the role. He's a career politician. He does the schmoozy thing pretty well. With Kamala Harris, the only way she would legitimately be cast as an actress playing the President of the United States is if the movie involved the president being corrupt and villainous. Like the president trying to design a way to start a nuclear war, or trying to enact martial law with a Reichstag fire sort of moment. That's the only reason you would cast her. Bernie Sanders would be cast in a comedy about the presidency. Buttigieg would probably be cast off as the president who has to learn on the go and doesn't know really what he's doing, but ultimately at least means well, and maybe it sort of works out in the end after much problem. Trump is the only one fully believable, though, for having to be in the role. By the way, this is also known as incumbent advantage. Kamala Harris, I'd cast her as the president anytime, as long as the movie involved the president being evil. But I would never even conceive of casting her as a president that was good. And Warren, I would cast her off again as a corrupt individual. A corrupt corporate crook who pretends to be a woman of the people, who pretends to be grassroots, who pretends to care about people in a general sense, to care about the poor or the state of affairs of the nation. I wouldn't cast her as a president that was, in a somber drama where the president just has to make presidential decisions and be presidential. I think I would cast Trump or Biden, ultimately. Maybe Buttigieg, although, again, his age is a little bit of an issue. Maybe if it was a JFK-style thing going on, he was a serial womanizer. In Buttigieg's case, if you had can you imagine this? Buttigieg becomes the president and then has a sex scandal. Can you imagine how funny that would be for the nation? Whoops. Yeah, that'd be a little bit far out there, I think, even for the Democrats. As far as Kamala, though, she doesn't care about her constituents. She's not going to win. She's now at sub 4 points. There will come a moment if she doesn't drop out that she'll be below Tulsi Gabbard. Won't that be a funny day for them? Oh, the Gabbard fans will be so happy. They'll be laughing. They don't even care if Gabbard wins as long as Kamala Harris loses. By the way, I don't blame them. That's about all. Peace out.